Hello Virgo, thank you for joining me here for this monthly April general reading for your sign. Special thank you to all the original subscribers and the new subscribers that have sent their comments and love. You guys have taken this little YouTube channel and made it into like a mediocre YouTube channel, and I really hope you give yourself a pat on the back for that, because this is allowing these readings to get queued up more often for new people, so the messages can reach more people. So that's awesome, really awesome. As a reminder, we're going to be using tarot here for the readings. This is a Mystic Dreamers Tarot. If we need clarifiers, we're going to be using this LENORMAND deck. The beautiful imagery on these cards that I can connect with intuitively. And then at the end of the reading, we're going to be pulling another oracle card from the Enchanted map, which I love doing that. So first off with tarot, what are the messages for Virgo and the people under the influence of Virgo for April 2017? Virgo and people under the influence of Virgo, what are the messages for Virgo? There we go, Virgo 2017. All right, I hope you're all in a position of comfort, abundance, and joy, and prosperity in all things. The well-wishing, as my subscribers know, is my favorite part. Only takes a few seconds, but is my favorite part of the reading. Please set your attention on whatever it is that you would like to know about. And here we go. At the bottom of the deck, the undercurrent, the undertow, we have Empress. Which way is she? She wanted to come up this way. I feel like we have Empress here. What a great card to have in your overall energy. Empress does what she wants. We can look at the Empress and know that no matter what's going on around us, that at some point we realize that it's a direct reflection of what's going on inside us, Virgo. So if you're experiencing joy and bliss and things in your life, you know that internally you're on the right track. Like your thoughts, your applied learning has made these things, allowed these blessings to come into your life, right? Whereas like if you're experiencing sort of lack and sickness in your life, these could be due to health choices and maybe some external blame that, you know, or societal conditioning that we've been too caught up in, right? So remember that the Empress, I feel, in the overall message wants to tell you that we are manifesting whether we want to or we don't want to, or whether we're conscious of it or not conscious of it. We are manifesting, you know, as above, so below, as within, so without. Like what goes on inside is going to be mirrored in the people that come into your life and the circumstances that you find yourself in. So great to see the Empress here. We'll chat back with her as we go through these 7 areas of life. The major energy centers in our body is chakras. Up first, we have 3 of Wands reverse. Okay, not a bad card to have in grounding here, even in the reverse position. 3 of Wands is a pip. It definitely speaks to our understandings of the world around us. Exactly what we were just hammering at with the Empress there. The 3 of Wands is saying that whatever it is we're desiring and the goals we're wishing to attain, we need to be able to, like the old adage goes, crawl before we can walk. We start inching towards that goal rather than making giant leaps and bounds. And for Virgo, this is very applicable, and most earth signs it's very applicable because you kind of get everything finished up before you move to the next thing, which is ideal. You change the small things that are in your power and control that allow you to put yourself in a better position to go out and grab what you want or take that proverbial next step, because sometimes the next step towards a goal means like convincing a person, or perhaps a bigger purchase, or some sort of other risk is involved in sort of the field of uncertainty. So this 3 of Wands is really good here in grounding. It's saying take care of health, take care of the small changes. You guys are really good at keeping order in your house and in your personal space. So that's just saying that, like, confirming you've done a really good job of it. As well, for some of this coming up in April with 3 of Wands, this could do with some spring cleaning for some of you, some purging. What we talked about in the Empress, like getting rid of the old to make room for new things to come in. Things that we might be, like, I'm talking about material things now, and even passion, things we're passionate about, ideas, this material things and ideas that we could be holding on to that we need to reevaluate and be like, is this thing or idea that we're holding on to a reflection of the way we used to be, or is it holding us back from the way we want to be, sort of thing. Okay, that's 3 of Wands there in grounding, root chakra. Oh my goodness, we got number 15, major, up in our creative centers. Okay, This card always comes with a warning when it's straight up. Some of you might be dealing with somebody that has some addictions, and this is coming up straight up in a sexual nature. Somebody might be addicted to pornography, or just like a really overactive libido that maybe you're trying to like. This could be a partner for a lot of you, Virgo. This, you know, I don't really get the sense like this is coming in. This is major energy. For some of you, you may need to look at sort of bringing some balance into your routines in regards to creativity. I almost got the feeling like someone's out there and they're just like doing painting after painting after painting after painting, and they're like piling up in a room, but like the sort of the ambition or the inspiration hasn't moved forward, and they just keep like doing the same thing over and over and over and over again in terms of a creativity. The devil always speaks to like cyclical nature, I feel like, and you're only seeing part of the picture as well, like only a quarter of the picture, you know, of whatever it is that you're doing. You've only been allowed to see like hints and glimpses of what it could be. So as for a major energy, to have this up in the sacral energy as well, with the Venus retrograde continuing through, I want to issue a warning to some of you to stay out of like one-night stands, friends with benefits situation, even though they might be very appealing for you, Virgo. Just be very careful, and if you do, the message here is like you almost want to double dome it, like triple wrap, triple raincoat, that kind of stuff, and just be careful who you're smooching, sort of thing. Okay, so that's there. All right. Now we come up into our solar plexus and we have Six of Cups reversed. Okay, so this is great to have in the solar plexus. This speaks to one of the first things I uttered when I started spitting this reading in terms of applied learning. We have the messages, we have our lessons, we have our knowledge base of what we have, and we rely on that in terms of making the right decisions, going through life, doing the right thing for other people as well. I see that this is like, for some of you, really wanting to like strap on the running shoes almost and like go out and enjoy the warm weather that's coming in for those of you in the northern hemisphere. And if you're watching this in the southern hemisphere, this is going to be a good time to develop what it is you want your family and your children to be doing through, well, I know it doesn't really get cold down there, but you know, through the winter months, right? When things, I get a feeling of like, almost like somebody growing herbs, or like starting a herb garden in their kitchen, maybe almost even like hydroponically, or like someone is really wanting to get back to ways like that they learned from their grandparents and like start applying it in 2017 and bringing about some inspiration that way. This is the feeling I got. Six of Cups often deals with the past, it deals with children, it deals with you know, moving forward into the future with lessons attained, right? Nostalgia, a lot of people call that. So, as well, the key to this one here is if you feel like your kids are growing up too fast, start taking pictures. Get the camera out, start taking video, and do it endlessly to no end, you know, and they'll be like, Mom or Dad, get that camera away from me. Or unless they're maybe a little Libra or something and they're a camera ham, maybe they love it being on them all the time. But document all your moments so that you can reflect on them when it's time to send them off to college. Lots of happiness. Okay, another major arcana up in our Heart of Hearts. Wheel of Fortune, number 10 major, great energy to have in the Heart of Hearts. I'm finding traditionally in this spread, with these 7 cards, this Wheel of Fortune comes up in the heart chakra more often than any other position. This Wheel of Fortune is, because the heart chakra is like a bridge between our upper and our lower. And when that chakra is spinning, that's when all things like come into understanding, they come to fruition. Like we said with this Empress before, like being that reflection of whatever's going on inside will be going on outside. It's almost like however you're feeling in your body will be coming through like whatever it is you're understanding. Some of you with this could be like wanting to be the best version of yourself. So you're changing attitudes, you're changing diet, you're changing habits. No matter how little or mundane or how major and shaking they may be, this card to me says that you're doing the work and that destiny is now going to be playing a bigger role in your life. For a lot of you Virgos, I feel that this chakra center is awake, it's open, it's turning. And if anything, we need to almost let go of the mental a little bit, allow the mind to serve the heart a little more than the other way around for the true, like, blissful blessings to come in. Really good energy to see this. What this means in terms of an impactful day-to-day life or through the weeks of April is going to be appreciative of the things that you witness that are seeming new or seeming like eye-catching or, you know, maybe mildly inspiring to the point where you go, huh? What? Oh, right? Those kind of moments, like in your day-to-day life, that there may be significance behind them. It's almost like the Dalai Lama says, like, when we speak, all we're capable of is rehashing things we already know. When we listen, we are entering a field of potential where we could learn something. So that's really good. The Wheel of Fortune is there. Okay, let's go up. Speaking of speaking and listening, let's see what we got up here in our throat chakra. We've got Six of Wands reversed. Okay. So what we got here is maybe some of you are not feeling that your voice is being heard. Some of you may be feeling that, you know, you may be being almost ignored a little bit in professional situations. This isn't really speaking about clarity. It's clarity. This isn't speaking to me so much about relationships. This to me more so is speaking of some things have been turned upside down for some Virgos in terms of professional level. Some of your ideas may be being suppressed by people in authority because they're not wanting to be upstood or outshined, I guess is the word. You know, kind of just be mindful of, if for you Virgos that have bosses that are like miserly when it comes to like taking credit or giving too much workload and then being the one that's, you know, slugging up to like the boss of the boss, right? The main person in charge. The thing here is like you gotta kind of maintain your P's and Q's, yet at the same time develop a plan to, oh my goodness, my phone is ringing. Maybe it's my boss. I am so sorry, Virgo. Yeah, I dig ditches in between doing these readings and talking about work. Like there was on my day off while I'm trying to give you guys some information. But back to you, and I do apologize, and I appreciate your patience. It probably affected me a lot more than it's affecting you because I can just hit edit and it goes right back to it. All right, but anyways, getting back to Six of Wands, we want to develop a plan so that if we're in our professional careers, working on things and developing things, and we're not getting credit, we're, you know, somebody's afraid of being outshined, and, you know, and you're still providing all the work, all the substance. We need to develop a plan, Virgo, almost like bring half of your work to your boss and be like, okay, here you go, Jim, you know, I'm all done this, but you almost like some of you might have withheld like 30 to 50% of all the gems that are in there, right? So maybe one day you'll be in a position where you could like entrepreneur out on your own, or, you know, maybe Jim went on vacation and now you're going to like John, who is Jim's boss, and be like, oh yeah, I just happened to do this, but really you've had it all along, right? It's not deceitful, or it's not like, you know, it's just, you don't want to be taken advantage of. You never want to be taken advantage of. And Virgo, sometimes I feel like you need to speak up, and there's a little bit of like apprehension to do so because, you know, like, you know, some people's energies can just be so domineering and demanding. You know, you're more apt to just say, you know, I don't even want to deal with it. I'm just going to shut my mouth, do my thing. But, you know, develop a plan to like keep your intellectual property, you know, yours. Okay. Now, in pineal gland, third eye chakra, we have Two of Wands. Again, what a great card of manifesting your own power, of coming into your own power. The Two of Wands to me shows this is development in this area. This is like Virgos that are starting to like get this area spinning and moving towards them. So like, you know, you're going back to this Empress, you're able to like grow in terms of your understandings and your abilities to change the situations around you when they're not favoring you. Virgo is at a place where I think going within and understanding like things are more than just mundane 3D reality. We're more than just like walking, talking egos and socially conditioned, batteries for machines. Like, we're busting out of the matrix, and we're doing those kinds of things to make sure we're taking care of spirit first. I see a lot of progress in this area. We look at Empress and Two of Wands, like the Empress is almost like wanting to show him how to manifest the great things in his life, and there he is, like, practicing it so that he can get out of these old ways or these old depleted energies that somebody's been taking advantage. So to see these two cards together, this is really good. This is growth in this area, and this is that sort of that mirroring energy that I talked about earlier, where it's like, when we go within, when we do our internal work, and we go to our place of silence, and get in touch with our true sense of self, then we begin to see the world around us change. No matter how subtly or how greatly, we begin to witness the change, and then that way we can walk with our heads held high and with greater clarity. Okay, so that's Two of Wands. Good energy to have there, Virgo. And then we got Strength card reversed coming in from Crown Chakra in the energy. So here, Virgo, some of you, I just have the urge to tell you, hold on. Get through this spring. I know situations around work have not really been super favorable for a lot of you that have started to follow this channel or subscribe. The feeling I have with this Strength card is things will start to get easier, but you're really needing to hold on when those hours, when you're on your way to work, when you're at work, and you way home from work, things are weighing really heavy on you. And I feel like a lot of Virgos are just enough is enough already. We gotta I wish something was better. I wish the energy would become lighter. And eventually it will, right? Because what's the saying is before you go into meditation, you're supposed to chop wood and carry water, and then after your meditation is over, you're supposed to chop wood and carry water, right? That's kind of the message, right? Is saying you need to remain strong in terms of putting yourself through the 9 to 5, because the energy I feel is people are weighing down on you, and you have been strong, and it's saying, unfortunately, Virgo, that you're going to continue to need to have that strength. We know you can. You can do it, right? It's just a matter now of patience and, really doing this inner work. So eventually you're not going to have to, feel so depleted at the end of a work day or at the end of a work week. Because that's, even though we're all there, we want to do that. We want to get it so that our bodies, we're feeling good. Work is not following us home. For some of you, I feel that's a big message. You're working so hard for Jimmy and Johnny, and then you feel oh, well, I need to appease them so much that I'm just going to bring, 3 hours of work home with me and do them after dinner or supper. And then, oh my God, what a waste of time that is, because you hand it in at 9 a.m. the next morning, or you send it off an email or a PowerPoint presentation, and then they're just thanks, bye. And you're well, what was the point in that, right? What was the point in that, Virgo? Okay, stay strong, manifest, okay? Keep it moving, keep it real. Love you guys. Lots of love for you guys through your workday, okay? I want to go back to this just for a quick second. This is the feeling. This speaks to this path here. Whatever it is that you guys are creating and someone else is taking credit for, this weighing heavily on you. Your heart's telling you that it's got to stop. That at some point, you got to stop, handing over all this intellectual property to somebody else and really get out and do it for yourself. Or maybe it's an issue. There's the popper already from Enchanted Map. You need to go to HR and say someone is not being very nice to me in the workplace. This could even be sexual harassment that some 1 or 2 Virgos might not speak to a lot that you're dealing with. Okay, so all right, rock bottom. Interesting for this card to flip out. Don't get too worried. This card, I read from the book on these oracle cards because I like the messages that were created with these cards. And don't worry when you see rock bottom. Because some of us are avoiding wanting to hit rock bottom, some of us are at rock bottom, and some of us are just on our way of pulling ourselves out from rock bottom. All right, so just going to give you this brief little message. I think Gemini might have this last time. Surrender and acceptance are the keys to freedom. As difficult as it may be to accept, it seems that you've reached a point where you can go no further in the same manner. in which you've been doing things. Perhaps you've hit the proverbial brick wall or experienced a deep sense of loss and don't know where to turn. The old way of doing things must be discarded fully in order to move onward and upward. A new direction and a new strategy are called for. The only way out is through surrender. Accept things as they are and admit that you have no idea what to do next. If you wait in that heartfelt moment of release and silence, then a stairway will appear, like magic, and all manner of synchronicities will show you the way to higher ground. The rock bottom card is a sign that a miracle is about to occur, but only if you let go completely. Okay? So, when we talk about letting go completely, these 2 and 3 of wands are pretty significant of that, right? So we've got third eye and we've got our day-to-day grounding stuff, right? And we got wands in terms of our passions, right? But it's, rock bottom is saying we got to shake up routines, right? If things are getting cyclical, if things like too cyclical, or, you know, that message I had earlier, the person that would just kept like painting or writing the same thing over and over again, it's like almost like we need to like change that or move that or shift that a little bit for continued success, right? The Empress wants you to have all the best things in your life. She wants you to be surrounded with abundance. So again, when we're going into that feeling of purging and spring cleaning, don't be afraid to let go of material stuff that is a reflection of the way things used to be. And even if you're worried, we didn't see much pentacles up here, but even if you're worried about, you know, throwing it out for lack of that one point in time that was an investment, remember that those things can always be donated to someone who may be just a few steps behind you on a similar particular path of wanting to follow their passions, and you could really help them out and generate some good karma. You know, all what comes around goes around. So make sure you're providing a little bit of the good stuff that goes around, so that what comes around can be there. All right, Virgo, I hope that made sense for a lot of you. You know I love you all, and we'll see you next time.